Oh, wait a minute. This isn't a map. This is my school report. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Potted Plant Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite movies, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. A little whip here, and a crystal skull, and that actually is a map. See, I got this from Disney World. It's got the little Indiana Jones hat and whip there. So instead of just reviewing this movie, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this time. In my second semester of college, I wrote a paper reviewing Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I thought instead of just doing this the typical way that I do it, that I would read this report to you because this has everything that I could possibly say about this movie. So here I go. When rating a movie, film critics use a 5-star scale. While I am no professional critic, I can honestly say that Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark absolutely deserves 5 stars, or in this case, a 100. The movie was shot and put together in no time flat. Each shot was only filmed about 4 times each, and they finished filming long under schedule. The film didn't even have the highest budget, as it was intended to be a B movie, and yet it became a beloved classic, and the film won 4 Oscar awards, plus another 31 awards and 24 nominations. I honestly cannot speak highly enough of this film. Coming from the brilliant filmmaking minds of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, the Indiana Jones franchise was my childhood. I cannot wait to watch these movies with my own children. This movie has everything. Romance, even a couple Star Wars Easter eggs, amazing on-site locations, great visual effects, a great cast, great characters, a few laughs, action, adventure, and spectacular stunts. The introduction for Jones's character is perfect, with him stepping out of the shadows looking like a total alpha male. The film takes place in 1936. Indiana Jones, whose actual name is Henry Jones Jr., is an archaeologist living in New York State. He is also a part-time professor of archaeology at a fictional university. The university assigns him to find the infamous Ark of the Covenant from biblical lore, to put in a history museum owned by the school dean Marcus Brody, played by Denholm Elliott, before the Nazi army can get a hold of it and weaponize it. All right, I'd like to point out, I have a Raiders of the Lost Ark poster right there. Yeah. Jones turns to an ex-lover, Marion Ravenwood, for help. She is the daughter of Jones's former mentor, Abner Ravenwood. Abner Ravenwood had collected a clue to the location of the Ark of the Covenant before his death, so Jones goes to her to buy it off of her. While the film doesn't explain Marion and Indian's personal history together, they had a secret romantic relationship while Jones was 25 years old and Marion was 15. He left her 2 years later, overcome with guilt. The two partner up and set out to find the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis, along with Indy's rival in archaeology, René Belloc, can get it and give it to Adolf Hitler. There is a hieroglyphic of R2-D2 and C-3PO on a pillar behind actor Harrison Ford when he is standing beside the Lost Ark's casing. Be on the lookout for that, because you only get a couple of very brief glimpses at it. There is also a scene toward the end of the film where the Ark of the Covenant is being carried through a desert canyon by the Nazis. That canyon is the same one where the famous scene of R2-D2 being kidnapped by Jawas in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope was filmed. Raiders was shot in 1980 and released in 1981. This was before CGI was introduced, so back then special effects were typically very cheesy. But in Raiders, the special effects were ahead of its time. Raiders proves that you don't need to use CGI to make great special effects. Even the snakes in the Well of the Souls were real, but harmless. Well, except for the cobra, that is. But the snakes were actually a species of legless lizards. Indiana Jones is deathly afraid of snakes, which provides for a few laughs. The idea for this character's fear actually comes from Spielberg's own fear of snakes. The special effects of the film, spoiler alert, come at the end when René Belloc Indy's rival in archaeology, Major Arnold Todt, a Nazi Gestapo agent, and Colonel Dietrich, a ranking Nazi officer, all die. After they open the Ark of the Covenant in a top-secret ceremony, chaos ensues. I don't need to go into details about that, but basically, they and all the Nazis there are killed by God himself. Dietrich's head shrinks, Todt's face melts, and Belloc's head explodes. All of this was done without the use of CGI. Harrison Ford was actually not the first choice to play Indiana Jones. Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds were considered for the role before he was. George Lucas suggested Harrison Ford since he already knew him from filming Star Wars. Spielberg was hesitant, but agreed to at least give him an audition. And the rest is history. Which leads me to my next point. The actors are perfect, and the characters portrayed in the film are a real pleasure to watch. Harrison Ford fills the role of Indiana Jones perfectly. Indiana Jones is probably the main reason why Ford is often considered to be the greatest action hero in cinema history, giving John Wayne a serious run for his money. And Indiana Jones is the ultimate action hero. He was inspired by James Bond. Karen Allen was an absolute delight, as she usually is. Marion Ravenwood is feisty, tough, independent, and at the same time, still attractive and witty. She's a nice change from your typical damsel in distress. John Rhys Davies is perfect for the role of Indy's friend and sidekick, Sala, a loyal and unselfish companion to Jones. His character even provides some comic relief. Belloc's character is charming, but at the same time selfish and greedy, so it's easy to hate him. Todt is a very intimidating and clearly evil villain. The actors of this movie weren't very big at the time, but Ford, Allen, and Davies certainly benefited from accepting the roles. The story is riveting and exciting. There isn't a dull moment in this film. It's a masterpiece. Indiana Jones quickly became the inspiration for a lot of homemade films, myself included. I did make some. And some of them are actually on my channel. You can watch them. It is the poster boy for the action-adventure genre, and it is the reason why many people, including myself, are either into or have actually gone into filmmaking. Jaws, another Spielberg masterpiece that also wasn't supposed to amount to much, had the same impact on audiences. Many people have become marine biologists just because of that film. The stunts are truly spectacular. I mean, for crying out loud, Indiana Jones hangs onto the front of a moving truck, crawls underneath it to the back, and then hangs off the back end, holding onto his bullwhip for dear life. And it was all done for real. The only thing that maybe ruins that scene a little bit is that you can see the ditch that they had dug into the road so that the stunt double has room to move underneath the truck. He also runs away from a rolling boulder and fights a Nazi boxer on and around a spinning airplane. All in all, Raiders of the Lost Ark is the greatest action-adventure movie of all time. It's a movie that holds a special place in the hearts of many. It has exciting gunfights, fistfights, vehicle chases, explosions, booby traps, foot pursuits, and unearthly forces. What else could you ask for? If adventure has a name, it must be Indiana Jones. So, like I said, I'm going to give Raiders of the Lost Ark a 100. It for sure deserves it. It's such a great movie. There's the reason why I got this big poster of it back here behind me. I love this movie. It's actually not my favorite indie film. My favorite indie film is Temple of Doom, but this is pretty great. If you like this, subscribe to Potted Plant Entertainment for more. Thank you so much for watching. Much love.